Veteran Salute is sponsored by the DeVaughn James Injury Lawyers.
He served with the U.S. Marines for 2 tours of Iraq and another tour in Afghanistan.
As KSN's Katie Tobby shares, this Andale native was able to find his life's purpose and is now living that out. Here is tonight's Veteran Salute.
Matt Amos loves his country and he loves a challenge. It's part of what makes him a great Marine. It was one of those challenges that helped Matt see exactly what he was fighting for on his 3 tours in the Middle East.
I can't not, be a part of that. And so I was in the recruiter's office in May, and then they sent me a ship date to boot camp of December.
Matt Amos remembers the U.S. invasion into Iraq in April of 2002. It's when he took action and joined the Marines. He took his first deployment to Iraq in 2004, where he spent a lot of time looking for and detonating landmines. He says it was a calm deployment when compared to his second, when Matt was injured after an explosion blew off part of his face. A surgeon would fix it, and Matt would head home to spend some time with his wife and 8-month-old daughter, born just weeks before his deployment. Matt would re-enlist, and after 18 months back at home and the birth of another daughter, he felt it was time to go again. This time, he was headed to Afghanistan with the highly decorated Alpha Company 1st Battalion 5th Marines.
I'd even kind of prepared my wife a little bit, and I said, this is going to be a tough one. So just be, anything could happen.
Matt and his fellow Marines were planted in a minefield, going on daily patrols, finding landmines. He says the casualties started 3 or 4 days in and never stopped. 17 were killed in action, and he can't count how many were wounded, including himself.
I must have just stepped off the line just a little bit, because that's when I felt the ground go soft. And I was like, this isn't good. And then boom. And I remember, it basically blew me straight up. And, I know that I had to at least be, 9 feet in the air, because I could see inside the compound walls.
Matt says he only remembers bits and pieces of what happened during his time getting from Afghanistan to Maryland.
Every day I would wake up, my legs were getting shorter. Woke up and this leg was getting shorter and shorter, and this leg was getting shorter, and I was going in for one surgery because they'd wake me up before surgery and I'd have to sign the paperwork and all that kind of stuff.
Matt would go through his post-op back home in California, where he learned of an organization called Wounded Warrior Outdoors. 9 months to the day of his injury, Matt found himself embracing another challenge while on a bear hunt in British Columbia. He had the chance to take a bear, but it meant some painful walking.
At that point, I'm not thinking about the pain of the legs, I'm thinking about the mission of getting the bear. And so that became my focus, and ended up being successful in taking the bear. Now I know I can do it, and this is how I can do it.
Now Matt says part of his life's purpose is to help other amputees have that similar experience. He does part of that thanks to the people he meets working at People's Prosthetics here in Wichita.
Since my injury, I have seen the absolute best of what this country has to offer. I've seen so much incredible support. I've seen the best of what these people have to offer, and so for me, that's kind of that's kind of what drives me a little bit, is because I've seen the best of what this country has to offer.
Matt says he never experienced much anger over his injury. Rather, he says he's grateful. And he says the other part of what he believes is his life's purpose is to live for his brothers who didn't make it home.
It's my hope that they can kind of live vicariously through me as me being their son, because I consider them my adoptive parents as well. So I don't ever want to let them down. I don't want to let their sons down. And so that's really what kind of drives me.
Here for you in Wichita, Katie Tobby, KSN News.
Tonight we salute Matt Amos for his service in Iraq and Afghanistan.
DeVaughn James Injury Lawyers, we're honored to be here with Matt Amos, this week's Veteran of the Week. Matt served 3 tours of duty overseas, 2 in Iraq and 1 in Afghanistan. Matt, thank you for your service.
Yeah, I appreciate it, and I just want to say thanks to DeVaughn James for being involved and telling the stories of our nation's heroes to make sure that they're not forgotten. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Veteran Salute is sponsored by the DeVaughn James Injury Lawyers.